I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and we are on location in Goose Creek talking with April Lips of AKL Professional Interiors. How you doing, April?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Tim.
Good. Thank you. And Josie Klukas, thank you so much for inviting us into your home.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Now, Josie, you're the homeowner. April, you're the interior designer, and you helped out these folks with a kitchen remodel. Can you kind of describe the project in general for us?
Kind of quickly, we had dated oak cabinets, and oak cabinets aren't really in anymore, so we try to get away from that. We also had a soffit here in the kitchen and shorter upper cabinets, so we ripped that out and we're able to give her taller cabinets. And she's also a big cook, baker, so we wanted to make sure we could really specialize it to her. So we did custom cabinetry so that we could customize it just exactly the way she needs it.
Great. And Josie, in a second, we're going to ask you to give us a tour of your brand new kitchen. But wanted to ask you a couple questions. What made you decide to hire an interior designer to help you out with this project?
Well, basically because I didn't quite know what I wanted, and I needed some direction. And I figured a designer can give me that direction. So, knowing her and knowing of her, I just figured that was the easiest thing to do, is to call April and set up a consultation, and then we just took it from there.
Gotcha. What would the outcome of the kitchen remodel have been like, maybe if you hadn't hired April Lips with AKL Professional Interiors?
I don't know that we could have gotten it off the ground. We probably would have gone with stock cabinets, and I probably would have been very disappointed in the outcome, because I do have a lot of custom items that are just specific to me. And I'm really, really happy with that, with the way it turned out, with just items that April has brought up that I never would have thought of, that I needed, that I am so glad that I had installed.
Yeah, and just to give some background on the house, the house was built when?
In 1989.
Okay, and do you recall the builder on the house?
It was originally called Crosland, and they are now known as Centex Homes.
Okay, so Volume Builder built the house. Was built in 1989, about a little more than 30 years old. The kitchen was starting to show its age. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, and April, kind of the big story here is you don't have to have a huge budget to redo your kitchen, because there's plenty of people out there that would love to have a new kitchen, but they may think it's out of their price range, not just to remodel their kitchen, but secondly to be able to hire an interior designer to help you with the entire project.
Correct. We just spent a lot of time together figuring out what her needs are, and when I do that, I mean, I have to get to know the person very well and really try to get them to tell me. A lot of times people don't want to get into too much of their personal life and how they do things, so they don't think it's pertinent, but it is extremely important, so that you make sure, again, this is a place she works, she cooks. It has to meet her needs, not mine, not somebody else's, but her needs. And it was a situation, again, where it was a dated kitchen, and the best thing to do is to rip it out. The cost was not exorbitant, and a lot of people, I think, assume to rip a kitchen out is going to cost them an arm and a leg, or that, granite is nowhere in their ballpark. And I don't care who I talk to these days, we consider granite for countertops. So nothing is out of anybody's price range anymore.
And that was something that you mentioned to me in the pre-interview, Josie, was that when April brought up the idea of maybe doing granite countertops, at first you were shocked and said, "No, I can't afford that."
That's right. I thought it was out of my price range, like a lot of people do. They think that that's way too expensive, and we pretty much found out that wasn't the case.
So if an interior designer wasn't involved with the project, you may have gone in a different direction, maybe gone with laminate countertops or something like that.
Oh, really? Absolutely. I wouldn't even have considered it.
Good deal. April, describe some of the other maybe tricks of the trade that you were able to help the homeowners out with, that ultimately added more value to the overall kitchen remodel.
Well, some of the big things is with this kitchen being a custom-made kitchen, we were able to move things even like 3 inches, get 3 inches here and there for more cabinetry, gives you more counter space, gives you small spaces, whether it be for spices or for cookie sheets, that type of thing we were able to do. Also, get away from the oak, of course, which that adds to the value. Granite adds to the value, but...
And you were able to get this extra storage space, this extra cabinet space by having the homeowners go with custom-made cabinetry versus stock cabinetry?
Correct. These are custom cabinets, and we can show you when we do the tour through, but they are what we call frameless. So they are boxes that are custom sized to fit within the actual space. So you don't have these fillers that a lot of people have where you lose 2 or 3 inches of cabinet space because the ready-made cabinets or cabinets that you buy sometimes that they make stock boxes come only certain sizes, and they're increments of maybe 2-3 inches, somewhere in that range. And a lot of people have these little fillers. And right now, especially I think with the economy the way it is, we're able to do custom for about the same price as a lot of those ready-made cabinets. And that was one of the things I wanted the Klukases to look into. And it was very comparable in price. There was not hardly any difference to do the custom, and that's why they went ahead and did the custom.
And you had told me about a previous project where the homeowners had opted to buy their cabinets off the shelf. That these cabinets were only, what did you tell me? $400, ended up costing about $400 more for custom cabinets versus cabinets that they bought off the shelf at a big box store.
Correct. Not much difference at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's well worth it. And then you get to pick your finish. You get to pick your door style. I mean, you customize every little thing.
Well, go ahead and describe some of the other aspects that that you're particularly proud of as far as being able to add value to the kitchen.
Well, again, we've got solid wood cabinets. We've got, well, the boxes are plywood boxes, so they're not particle board. A lot of kitchen cabinets, and even the ones that were here, at the ends, they were almost like contact paper that's printed to look like wood. Only the door fronts and the frames were actually wood. So you've got the solid wood doors here in that situation, and the plywood. Like I said, we were able to enlarge it. The footprint is pretty much the same, but we've got itemized, I shouldn't say itemized, but we've got the spice pull out, we've got a KitchenAid mixer pull up, we've got the drop down roll out area for her to roll her doughs at a lower level. These all add value to the house for anybody that's a cook. We've upgraded appliances to stainless steel, moved the microwave from over the stove, which a lot of people have, but you can't set big pots in there. So, and stainless steel appliances are still the big draw, what everybody wants. We got rid of the soffit, added height to the cabinet, so that gave more storage space. So there's actually more storage in this kitchen now to put products. So between the lighting, the sink, the faucet, I mean, all of those are upgrades that add value.
That's great. Well, is there anything that you'd like to add about the project or maybe working with April before we have you take us on a tour, Jody?
Oh, I'm totally pleased with working with April. She has really, she has guided me right from the start. She hasn't done us wrong anywhere. Everything that she's come up with that we've done I have been totally happy with. So it's been a wonderful experience so far, and we're not done yet. So I'm looking forward to finishing my house with her. So yes, I'm very pleased. Very pleased.
Terrific. And when was the kitchen completed?
Was it around just before Christmas?
I think so, just before Christmas. Yeah.
So you've had some time to work in it, to live in it, and
I was doing all my Christmas cookies in here and just loving every minute of it, and it's just so efficient that I can go for the right cookie sheet. I can work at my workstation, and I don't have to double track, and it's been a total pleasure working in my kitchen now. I just love it.
Well, that's great. So you're much happier with this kitchen versus the old one.
Absolutely, yes.
And April, can you give us just a general idea of approximately how much a project like this would run with a brand new custom kitchen?
You're somewhere in the $20,000 range is where we were with this. And that, that's tearing out soffit, that's tearing out all the cabinetry, that's, all new appliances and, all new sink, faucet, everything. So I guess my big thing is I want people to know that it's not impossible, it's achievable. There's a lot you can do. So you don't have to spend a ton of money.
And that's with having a professional interior designer holding your hand all along the way, too.
Well, and, I think it's important, obviously, because of what I do for a living, but we can help keep you from making mistakes. Some of the mistakes I've seen, people will do very busy granite and they have a busy tile floor, and then they fight. Or even in this situation, one of the things that I walked them through is the backsplash here. The backsplash here is probably a little more unusual than what people see. It's got a little more busyness to it. But it really works off of the granite, and it gives them something that's very special to them and more of what I call that wow feature. So, and I really like that for somebody to walk in someplace and be able to say, wow, I wish we would have thought of that, rather than doing the same old, same old.
And Josie, were you at all concerned, you or your husband concerned about spending all this money and maybe before you started the project and then worrying that the outcome might not be what you hoped for?
No, actually, no. Not working with April, I knew she wouldn't lead us, she wouldn't steer us in the wrong direction. So, no, I was pretty happy with everything the way it turned out, and I never doubted for a minute that it would turn out as good as it did.
Well, that's great, because that I guess having an interior designer gives that extra peace of mind. There are folks, though, you've probably talked to different homeowners who along the way have done projects maybe without the assistance of an interior designer, spend all this money, and then they weren't all that satisfied with the outcome.
Sure, I've seen that, and it's really sad because that's a lot of money they've spent that now they can't afford to redo, and so I've had a lot of people that have said, that I was worth every penny, and there are some people that like to do a lot of the legwork themselves, and I always tell people that's fine. I can just come and look at what you're selecting and tell you if you're on the right path, if you're not, which way to try to go. I've done a lot of that for some people, but you also have to kind of have fun with your customers. I have a lot of fun with Josie and her husband, and we laugh. I mean, when she gives you her tour, she'll show you her horse trough that I call. And it's just, but that's what she needed. That's what works for her. I mean, it's big enough for her to take a bath in it. So, but that's part of the fun of it. Makes it easier for them, too, when you've got a good working relationship and you're having fun, for them to easily tell me, no, I don't like that as well. So I want it to be an exciting process for people, and I want them to be thrilled. And when the granite was put in and she laid on this island and rubbed her granite and said how wonderful it was, that was it for me. I mean, that's what it's all worth.
Well, that's great. About how long did the project take from start to finish?
We were, maybe 2 months, I would say, from start to finish. So we didn't tear the cabinets out until maybe a week before the new cabinets went in, but then by the time you get the cabinets in, and then they have to template for the granite, that kind of thing takes a little bit of time. So it wasn't terrible.
So about 2 months and about $20,000. That's not too bad to have a brand new custom kitchen with the assistance of a professional interior designer. Well, that's great. Well, let's go ahead and have you take our readers, viewers, and listeners on a tour of your beautiful new kitchen.
Here's my cookie sheet storage area, which is really handy because I do all my cookie forming right here on the island, and so I can just reach for another tray. It's really efficient, and I love it. Okay, and here's my pull-up for doing all my baking and rolling out pie crusts, and it's set for my height. I'm kind of on the short side, so this works perfectly. Instead of having to reach up high, I've got a nice low work area, and it's just perfect for doing pie crusts and cookies and whatever else I need. And then also, I love this, my pull-up for my KitchenAid mixer, which is, if you don't have this and you have to lug it out, it gets pretty heavy. And this is perfect because I don't have to move it at all. I can just bake right here. I've got my big work surface, and then when I'm all done, it stores out of sight.
Beautiful.
I love it. My horse trough, my wonderful, wonderful sink that my husband said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "No, I want something deep that I can work in.
Love it.
If I have a stock pot, it can go right in. I'm not fighting the divider. I'm not splashing water all over the place because it fits right in the sink. I've got my pull-out that I can use.
This is a touchless.
And it's the touchless.
Well,
It's the... So if I'm doing something with cookie dough and I need to like put something in the oven, I can just hit it, wash my hands, hit it again. It works out good too. Like if you got chicken on your hands and you don't want to contaminate everything. That's really great there.
Show me your trash pull-out for you.
Oh, my trash pull-out, which is really nice because I have trash, I have cans for recycling, I have newspapers for recycling. And that's something I've always wanted is a recycling center. I've got extra deep cabinets, and this is where I leave my canisters, so I don't have to have them out on the counter anymore. So I have all my baking supplies in there, which is pretty neat.
When you say extra deep, does that mean they're
extra deep?
I gotcha.
They're deeper than what you can get stock products for. You can't get drawers as deep as these for the stock products. She's got a drawer over here as well that has the deep, not this one, but the one on the bottom. She's got one of those big, when you make your jambalaya and all that kind of stuff, so your stock pots, the real big ones. We measured that pot to make sure it would fit in that drawer, and we made the drawer the size she needed. So you can't get drawers this deep.
Oh, and also, we haven't mentioned yet, they're the soft close, which if I had gone to a stock cabinet place, big box place, I don't think that I would be able to get them. Okay.
And let's show you the frameless just so people know what frameless is.
And frameless.
So there's no frame around. You just have the box, and the hinge is attached to the inside of the box. So it gives you much larger cabinets.
And also in the middle here, you don't have that big.
Is this what they refer to as European style?
Correct. And this is where we took the soffit out. So she ended up with an additional probably 10 or more inches of cabinet height that at least gives her more storage. And because there was a soffit there, when we took it out, there would have been a line along the ceiling that would have looked bad. So we actually made the upper cabinets deeper so that we would hide that line so we wouldn't have all of the work that we'd have to do to fix the ceiling. So she also has now 14-inch deep upper cabinets, which makes it nice for when you have like pasta bowls, things that are large like that don't fit in a 12-inch deep cabinet.
So the old cabinets kind of came up to about right here or so, and then there was sheetrock going up to the ceiling. So it was all this wasted space that you folks recaptured then.
Correct, by tearing that soffit out.
Awesome. You can never have enough storage space in a kitchen, no matter how big it is.
That's right, and I'm using every square inch of it. I love my pull-out spice rack. It's so handy when I'm cooking at the stove. I can reach for something. I don't have to go digging in a cabinet and having 17 other bottles falling out at me as I'm reaching for the cinnamon or something.
That's impressive. How do you have your spices arranged? Alphabetically?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much alphabetically.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, I do.
Lying. She's got them by Italian. She told me the other day she has them by
I see some B's and C's on the top.
I changed it. I got my B's and my C's, and I'm working all the way down to my S's and T's, and yeah. Okay, and then I also have my cutting boards. Fit nicely in there. And here's something that I never would have thought without April mentioning it. For as long as I've lived, I've always had my dishes, my plates and saucers and cups in an upper cabinet. It never occurred to me that I could put them in a lower drawer. And I mean, it's worked out really great. Having a nice deep drawer, I can put all my plates in, and I don't have to tiptoe and get all that stuff. It's handy right there. I love having my microwave not over my stove. I did have one at one time, and I found out.
Used to be right here?
Yes, and it was so low that you couldn't put a big, like a stock pot or something, and be able to stir it because the microwave was in the way. So I like having it up off the counter, so it frees up all this counter space for me, and it's not, it's inobtrusive.
You've got the tech lighting that's custom bent. They've got the little can lights around to actually highlight the cabinetry as well. So the kitchen is real, what do you want to say, spotlit, I guess you could say. Under cabinet lighting, which highlights the tile work that we did, which the backsplash is a glass and stone backsplash. And other than that, I mean, she did the armoire refrigerator. I know some people have seen that with the two-drawer freezer. Actually, is this refrigerator or freezer in that one? Yeah, okay. I thought they were both freezer, but just to be sure. So I mean, it really customized. The biggest thing, the funny thing that we ran across, too, is when after we put the granite out, and a lot of people do this, she and I laughed about it, and she showed you her cooking area where she had her canister set, and she has a particular pattern in her china. And the first time I came over after all the granite and everything was put out, she had that canister set sitting on the countertop, and I said, oh my God, I said, you've got to get rid of that because it's really fighting the granite. And that's when I also told her that we don't put canister sets out anymore, that they're put away. So we talked about possibly where. And you have to realize putting things in this kitchen was a process for her because things are all different. So you have to kind of think a little differently about how do I want to set this up. I mean, sure, I could sit here and tell her, well, I'd put this here, I'd put that there, but that's for me, not for her. So we had to approach things, a little differently, and it also helped her when she got rid of the old kitchen to purge and get rid of some things that maybe she never used or didn't need anymore. So.
Well, if you're going to do a project like this, you want to have a brand new kitchen, and it sounds to me like you probably wouldn't have been able to integrate a lot of these really clever ideas without the help of an interior designer. If you were doing it on your own, and I guess I'm just trying to relate to our listeners, viewers, and readers that if they're trying to do something on their own, they may end up with an outcome that isn't all that different from maybe what they had before. And you must be so pleased to have a brand new kitchen with all sorts of new options and things that are that you never had before.
That's exactly right. I mean, if it wasn't for April, there are a lot of things I never would have thought of on my own.
Even the cabinets, off camera, your husband mentioned that you were originally looking into refacing the old cabinets, and now, lo and behold, you've got brand new custom cabinets.
That's right, because I didn't think we could afford to do anything else. I thought, well, at the very least, if we resurface the cabinet doors, maybe that'll give me a different look for a fraction of the money. And then when April pointed out that it'll probably cost me about as much to reface the cabinet doors as to get new cabinets, it kind of sent me down that path that maybe we ought to look into this. Maybe it is worth our while.
So she opened up a lot of possibilities for you and your husband.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great. Well, April, thank you so much for letting us know about this project. We want to get your contact information so our readers, viewers, and listeners can know how to contact you.
You can reach me via email at april@aklinteriors.com or 764-3006.
Okay. How about a website?
The website is aklinteriors.com.
Okay, great. Well, we have been talking with April Lips with AKL Professional Interiors, and also Josie Klukas, the homeowner here. And thank you so much for inviting us into your house.
Oh, you're quite welcome. It's been a pleasure.